Soapbox? What a stupid name. Who would call something that? Only a fucking moron.
Hey guys, what's up? 2-Bit Jesus here with another 2-Bit podcast episode, and today I'm alone and I'm going to talk about Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Now, the trailer for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2 was just recently released, and it looks pretty awesome. But before I get into that, let's just do a little backtracking here. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball games. I love Dragon Ball games. Not all of them, though. They're not all created equal. There's some Dragon Ball games that are really bad, and I would never suggest anyone playing them. But Budokai was awesome. I played a few of the ones back in the day in the 90s, like on the PlayStation. But for me, I really fell in love with Dragon Ball as a video game in the early 2000s when Budokai came out and Legacy of Goku and all of that. That was awesome. I loved that. And also had Budokai 2. Budokai 3, it was okay, I guess. And then Tenkaichi 3, which was really amazing. To me, it's still is probably the best Dragon Ball game because it spans the entire saga of it. It spans the entire lore. You go from Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball GT, and it has a roster consisting of many of the main characters from each of those eras or epics of Dragon Ball. And, of course, I love Raging Blast 2. That was a great one. But my point is, with Xenoverse was kind of like, to me anyway, a little bit of a runaway hit because before Xenoverse, they had quite a few flops. So Xenoverse really felt like it was their last chance to have a good Dragon Ball game, and they hit it out of the park. They gave us a really good creation suite, unlike the crappy one from Ultimate Tenkaichi. They gave us an original story for once. Because I've always said this, Dragon Ball is kind of like Batman. You know, in Batman movies, we've seen Bruce Wayne watch his parents get shot like a million times. We've seen it. We get it. Anyway, where I'm going with this is Dragon Ball in every single game has just followed Dragon Ball Z's story. Saiyan Saga, Frieza Saga, Android Saga, Cell Saga, Buu Saga. And they've followed that and just repeatedly given us the same story over and over again for the last, 10, 15 years. So it got really stale. Really stale. So, and that's why I liken it to Batman. We had seen it all before. In Xenoverse, they gave us an original story about like these demons or whatnot that are going back in time and messing with the timeline, and you as a time patroller have to go back in time and fix things and make sure things happen the way they're supposed to be. And it's a little ripoff of, I believe, a Dragon Ball MMO from South Korea that was popular in South Korea. So it is kind of a ripoff or a repackaging of it, but it worked. It was great. Awesome story. I'm going to try not to give away any spoilers, but suffice to say, when you get to the end of the game, it's left kind of open, so there could be a sequel, and we're getting it here, and I'm excited because I loved Xenoverse. I will say it did have its issues. I feel like its creation suite could be a little bit more robust, so I hope they do that in Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Like transformations, that's the one thing I have to harp on. The Frieza race did not have any transformations, but that's a big deal with that race, so I hope they put that in there. Namekians, I don't think they had their fuse, so you couldn't be like in the previous games, Piccolo could use his fusions as abilities, like fuse with Nail or fuse with Kami. And Earthlings, like Krillin, could use unlocked potential and whatnot. So I'd like to see those really come back in, because I don't think that they were in Xenoverse. And I would love with the Zayians for you to actually have, and even with the Frieza race and whatnot, and the Buu race, is to have multiple transformations. In Xenoverse, you could only have one. So I could have my base character, and I could go up to Super Saiyan. But if I wanted Super Saiyan 2, I'd have to switch my Super Saiyan out with the Super Saiyan 2. So I'd go from base to Super Saiyan 2. And that's not how the show goes. Everyone knows they power up. You know, it'll go base, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. In retrospect, if I remember in the show, Goku just powered straight up to Super Saiyan 2. from his base form. But I'm getting in too much detail with that. Anyway, I would like for you to be able to go from one level to the next and just have it stackable. Just stack it, instead of having to just pick just one transformation. That would be, I would love that. And the same with the Frieza race and even the Boo race. I'd love for the Boo race to have transformations. I'd also like they had parallel quests in Xenoverse, and you would have to grind your butt off to get attires and moves. So even if you completed every goal in a quest, it was randomized. So you might get something, you might not, and you might get the same thing you got last time. So I would do a mission over and over and over and over and over again, and I would be sitting on 7 Zayn armor pieces, and I was like, I don't want those, I want the pants and the shoes, and it was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, it's like, I feel like they put that in there purposely just so you could just keep playing the game over and over again, but it turned me off. I actually put the game down for a really long time, and I still pick it up from time to time to play it, but then once I realize I have to grind for suits, I'm just like, I'm not feeling this. I'm not feeling this. I hope in Xenoverse 2 they streamline it and have it to where you just get all the items that are unlockable in that level if you complete each goal that they correspond to. And even maybe have some hidden goals that you kind of have to figure out for yourself. I hope they do that, and that would greatly improve the game. And lastly, I hope they improve kind of the battle system. I think was great. They have a nice foundation in Xenoverse, but I feel like the moves could have been a bit more flashy, and a bit more kind of like the show is always over the top. And so I hope they bring that back, because sometimes I would hit say the Big Bang attack or even Goku's Warp Kamehameha. They looked awesome. I liked how they looked, but I just was expecting more out of it and a bigger explosion. And I just hope they take everything that they have with Xenoverse and just turn it up, crank it up to 11, and make it really big and over the top, and that would be great. The roster, I would love for them to keep the roster the same and add more characters. I'm suspecting we're going to get a lot more of the original movie characters, and also with, now that, was it Dragon Ball Super is out, or is it Super Dragon Ball? I think it's Dragon Ball Super. Now that that's out in Japan anyway, and I don't know if it's come stateside or not yet. I'm kind of out of the loop with this stuff, but now that show is out, though, I'm suspecting we're going to get a lot of characters from that series crossing over. And I will say this, though, give us some more of the original characters back, please. I hate playing Teen Gohan and he's stuck at Super Saiyan. Give me his base mode. I would love just to play with normal Gohan. That would be awesome. And then power up to Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2. Or just play with base Gohan. It's fun. I miss that. I would love Android 19 and 20 back. I would love for Cell to have his transformations back and Frieza to have his transformations back. I love all of those. Those are great. I hope Bandai Namco brings those back. If there's one thing I have to harp on, it's transformations that are lacking in Xenoverse with the main characters and even with the created characters. So I'm hoping that they bring that back. And lastly, just to break down the trailer, there wasn't much to it. Like I said, it just looks like a continuation of Xenoverse 1's storyline. The city or the hub world is much more expansive than it was in the first game. Like the first game, Toki Toki City was actually fairly big, but also felt very empty, unless there were a lot of players at the time in there. But it looks like this one's going to be a lot bigger, and maybe even the worlds look bigger. It just looks much bigger in the trailer. Also, like I said, it looks like they're following the movies, and I suspect they're going to be following Super Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Super. You're going to be going back in time and doing that, maybe, so they can tie the new show in. And there wasn't much to it besides that, but it looked awesome. It looked beautiful. Xenoverse was a cross-gen game. It came out for the old gen, the 360 and PS3, and also for the PS4 and Xbox One. This time around, it's only Xbox One and PS4, and of course PC with Steam. So it looks like they're going to really be able to push the visuals and everything, because I felt like having that cross-gen, support with the last game kind of hindered it a bit. The game still looks great. Xenoverse still looks awesome, but I felt like it was more made for the Xbox 360 in the PS3 than it was, say, for the Xbox One or PS4. But it looks like this time they're gonna really push it forward. So those are just my brief thoughts and my little breakdown of the trailer. There wasn't much here. Like I said, it just, again, looks like a continuation of the story. Looks like you're following the movies now instead of the main Dragon Ball storyline. And it looks like it's going to be a beautiful game. It looks like you're going to have really big, expansive areas. I would love for them to have, because already they were fairly big, the areas you fought in, but I would love for them to get even bigger. That would be great, especially if you have a lot of fighters. It would be awesome, because sometimes things would get crazy in Xenoverse. There would be like, if I remember correctly, there would be like 10 or 12 fighters in one map. It felt like that way anyway, and not all actual players. There would be some NPCs too, because I think it's like you can have like 3 or 4 players per lobby, and the NPCs could number 6 to 10 if I remember correctly. So you'd have these expansive battles on one map, and it looks like it's going to get even bigger. And then also it looks like they're putting a little bit more time in it, because when Xenoverse came out, like I said earlier, I thought it was a sleeper hit because I don't think they expected it to be as successful as it was, because it sold over 2 million units. And so I was actually expecting, because Xenoverse came out February, March, if I remember, maybe it was April. It was sometime at the beginning of the year. Usually the release of Dragon Ball games fall on the previous release. So say Xenoverse came out in March or April, I was expecting Xenoverse 2 to come out in March or April, and we were going to hear about it at the beginning of the year, but it looks like it's coming out this fall. I don't know if that's official or not. I read an article where it alluded to an October release, but I don't think I've seen an official release date. But it looks like it's going to be a fall release, which means they're going to put a little bit more time into polishing this game, and hopefully really putting as much content as they can into this game. I'm hopeful for it. 2016 was starting out as a dull year for me when it comes to games, but I'm hearing all this great stuff about all these great games that are coming out, and I'm excited. Please, again, if you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button and share us. Please share our video so other people can see it and enjoy our content. And again, if you want to keep up with everything we're doing, please hit that subscribe button. That way you won't miss a thing, and you'll always know when we post a video or go live with a stream. With all that said, guys, thanks for watching, and have a great day.